everybody, we're going to continue because the people who work here actually have other lives. So our first reader is Brian Martens, and you may know him because he's the host of another poetry series at Speakeasy at the Santa Rosa Arts Center around the corner. Brian's also a California poet in the schools. And his first book, was Three Raven Gate, and his next book from which he'll read is Merlin's Wing. Please be quiet and help me welcome Brian Martens to the stage.
Yeah, I'm the microphone mover because I always have to move it. So this is the book. It's not out yet. It's not printed yet, but I heard today that it's going to go to the printer soon. So yeah. So I'm going to read the title poem from that book, this book. It's called Merlin's Wing Raven. Iridescent black, glowing colors, speaking the wisdom of myth. Your kind voice showing the elusive trickster. Your trick playing me. I gasp as you dive head first, speeding like a tucked bullet. Vision carving sky and nest. Wings touch the sound of air. Sculpting myth to trust the unseen. Legend follows you as I grow my wings. Tell me more stories. Dip your wings into gold. You perch on my shoulder, speaking your language to my hollow ear. Your antics of flight follow. I feel you rise, wings bursting through fog, light, air. Thank you. And thank you, Ed. You know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ed and a lot of poets, so it's great to be comrades with all of you today. I have a cat named Jackson, so this is Jackson's nose smells every green thing. Quivering nostrils, each vibrates a different tune. The left side classical, right side hip hop. His body sways to the blue road in between. He doesn't mind, there's no sound in space. The smells of chartreuse enter his nose in octaves, arpeggios, bumped by clef signs. Birds at a riff, black-brown root, a gong of respect humming. He looks at wires in the sky, hears his voice repeated. Spacewalking with Bach, worms watch from their squirming trail. Cacophony laughing at bent ears of wind, holding the symphony, instruments of glee. Bees, the backbeat of pollinating stories. Jackson walks up to me, backfires his horn, laying down his track, sprawled over tuned keys, notes of peaches, tuna, and throaty meow. Silence goes deep below the high notes. He's the bass, below bass. The purple black, below music, below sound. He flares both nostrils, making music. So this is about my grandson, my 9-year-old grandson. He was only 18 months when I wrote this. Dreaming in trees. Dreaming in trees. I'm walking to the river with my grandson asleep in his stroller. The tiny wheels a rhythm of crunching leaves, rolling gravel, smooth dirt, twigs crumbling. This sleepy rhythm, walking, strolling, wind, bird's breath, in, out, through his fluid chest, keeps his dream alive. The fertile unconscious hears the earth speak, a walking meditation. mesmerizing this Buddha. Not to wake him from his appointed dream, merging this nature with his nature, I sit to watch the nomadic river. Standing up, I again embark, calmness his pillow as he sleeps silently. As we stroll, he wakes. Papa! I stop, kneel to him. Gushing out of his dream, he looks up and points to the trees. Were you dreaming, I ask? In the trees, up, up, up. He delights. In his eyes, I see the fervent passion of life awaken. Through his 1,000 lips, I hear God. Okay, this is, the epigraph is from Julia Child. I think every woman should have a blowtorch. Have the women heard that quote? Yes, okay. Every female child educated in the proper use of a blow lamp would lessen abuse in the world, would bring more gender equality. Girls and women fitted with twin holsters, a Burns-O-Matic for each hand in case one runs out of fuel. There would be quick draw contests, useful to thwart that touchy neighbor or family member, a red dragon used to singe an eyebrow and prevent acts of aggression. A boon for plastic surgeons, repairs for grabby hands, hospital burn units triple staffed, empowered females snickering about the latest torching incidents. Julia was ahead of her time, envisioned more uses than the harmless creme brulee. Bosses and co-workers would risk getting their ties singed and explaining to their partners. Torches would be brought into courtrooms, igniting judges' robes for not abiding a restraining order. After maiming much of the population, leaders would learn to work respectfully with owners of a spicy dew torch. The use of the blowtorch would return to more mundane uses, starting the barbecue grill, lighting candles for a special dinner, and of course the occasional creme brulee. So this is another child's poem. I don't know. And she was actually, when I wrote this, was about 18 months. So there's something about an 18-month-old child. They talk like they know everything. You know, they just go on and blah 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 blah. And I don't understand, like with Jack, but they exactly know what they're saying. Matilda and the Golden Finger. I was sitting in my Ozark Trail camping chair, inches from the concrete floor, resting from work and friends, tearing down, preparing for new construction. A child of 18 months approached me. I met her parents briefly during the day, trying to remember her name. Surprised, I listened and watched intently. Leaning against my leg, she crawled into my lap, her parents and friends anxious about her vulnerability, her mother wanting to protect her, while I felt humbled by her play. I lifted her, sat her against my chest as she looked out at friends, family, safe. We sat. I listened to make her comfortable. I wanted to feel like her teddy bear, her favorite toy, or a bottle of warm milk. Looking at the ceiling, she pointed with the finger of her tiny cupped hand. She began to speak and describe with glowing resolve, which I didn't understand. Letting go of everything and everyone in the room, I grasped her gushing. Together as one seamless body, she spoke as she gestured to large, pointed skylight. Her lips turned gold as they expressed, seeing angels and cherubs floating in the colorific hue of light, streaming from the sky. Genius poured from her lips as her finger turned to gold, her voice floating, luminous, her angelic face enlightened with passion and knowledge of how to pledge her golden words from her filigreed finger. And Rilke is one of my favorite poems. This is homage to his poem, The Panther. And just a brief, so Rodin was in Paris when Rilke was a young poet, and the story I read, Rilke was really having a hard time, so Rodin said, come to Paris, you can stay with me, and he still was doing terrible. So Rodin, this big sculptor, said, go to the Paris Zoo, look until you can't look anymore, and then come home and write till you can't write anymore. So he did. And he wrote The Panther, one of my favorite poems. So this is homage to him. The Rilke, timid in hat and coat, sitting on a bench in the Paris Zoo, he stares, sitting apart from comfort, his body hidden, barring him from an opening to see into the animals. He comes day after day observing me, testing his will to discover a path to pierce and expose inside. Daily imprisoned within hat and coat, his vision paces less, moves further until he trusts. Through time, his introspection sees past his contentment, begins to penetrate inside my animal essence. His eye sees me without the believed bars passing, knows the thread is felt between us, and suddenly he's aware I am Panther. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with words to poetry. Without a guide, words cannot become poetry. Birds are best, winged messengers dive, submerge below famished ocean forgetfulness. Choose a pursuit diver, pelican, tern, or booby. For the deepest dive, ask an emperor penguin. Peck out critical eyes, looking to mask your voice. Messenger uncovers buried seeds, wings of imagination, flourish in fertile belonging. Bridge depths to sky and air, soar each word light on thirsty tongue. Voice strengthened, propelled by phoenix of flames. Now words find promised path. Eyes feel, taste colors, hear impossible music. Senses become magnets for magic. Body explodes, merges, voices speak passwords to magnificence. Fluid pen etching each word into hieroglyphics, pyrotechnics forever, fireworks for the soul. Thank you.
Somebody who really likes children. How refreshing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll set this back down for
Oh, thank
somebody.
you. I appreciate it.
Who's next? What do you mean? Here.
You take care of my receipt. I think that's fine. Yeah, everybody's just about taller than I am. Thank you. Okay, another round of applause, please, for Brian Martens. Our next poet is somebody I didn't know I knew, and her name is Marjorie Stein, and she's going to read, I hope, from an atlas of lost causes, her first book published by Kelsey Street Press in 2011, and her latest book, Unravel, which was selected for the Marsh Hawk 2025 Poetry Prize and will be out in 2026. Tall cotton, Marjorie, tall cotton.
Thank you, Gwynn. I've never been called tall cotton before.
Well, with Marsh Hawk. You're in.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today for poetry. And Mamadou and Mario, thank you. Love your space. So here's a little bit from Atlas of Lost Causes. On a warm day, the view from the Marin headlands above the Golden Gate Bridge is suggestive. Bolts are not bolts. Steel is not steel. the paint is chronically applied to stand in for precious metals. They say some camera captured 14 suicides in 1 year. They say each act appeared so offhand. Maybe it isn't hard to leave a place after all. Just a shift in weight over a verge, and the act completes itself. That's enough out of that. It's so old. It's so old. Okay, these next few ones are from the upcoming book. This first one, wind telephone. So I don't know if any of you know, but back in 2010, this man in Japan put a phone booth in his garden with a non-functional phone in it. And he meant that as a way to help communicate with his deceased cousin and help process his grief. And then the following year, the tsunami followed by an earthquake that wiped out the Fukuhara plant. He invited people from his town to come and use the wind telephone. And soon word got out and people came from pilgrimages all across Japan. Wind telephone. What is the word for a hand waving on the wrong side of the horizon? Curling against ocean, they were merely trying to avoid the less predictable waves. The plural of water returned as moon pole. What is the word for the color of a wave when it eclipses a star-stenciled night? Fingering rotary digits of the wind telephone, she says, "This grief is fractal." He replies, "I will miss dancing in the fluent moonlight." Hi, Terry. Is that a little better? Yeah. All right. And so we are floating out of volute blue. My rowboat, your lake, our silk afternoon. I thought you asked, when will our moon ever be enough? Out of ash rises a brief tree in love with place. In the desert, everything is precious. I thought you said. World order. Here we have another zoo following Brian. World order. Once at the zoo, I watched a polar bear turn to rust in winter mist. I tossed stale popcorn, then the empty bag, then the car keys. At last, she lumbered up false rocks and danced for my amusement. Animal ampersand of scat and scathe. How to be a being bound. Apex predator trapped in flat snapshots. And I'm going to read a few things from manuscript. It's still looking for a home. It's called In the Hinges of the World, and it's a series of found poems from Moby Dick. There's one poem for each of the 135 chapters. So buckle in, people. She, a wanderer among the moons, an unfractioned wonder. One hand made of bone, the other vermilion stars. Life belongs to brevity. Is not possession ruinous? Slumbering memory shot through with crystal twilights. Always worth a while to be dreaming wrong side out. Her soul bent, a latent loneliness. Dark weaver, perchance thou shalt see it, the inward circumference of God. And this last one is newish. So, February 4th, 1968, very prominent day in history. That's when the Beatles recorded Across the Universe. And 1968, that same date, NASA, on the 40th anniversary, decided to commemorate this by transmitting that song. They aimed it at Polaris, the North Star, which is 431 light years away from Earth. So it'll arrive in 431 years from 2008. Across the Universe. A song beamed to Polaris at the speed of bright exit across the universe. The past arrives again in the year 2439. And where was I then? Both sides of the sky become vanishing points. A memory of when I was no longer I. I held my breath and swallowed the placebo effect of knowing there is nothing to stand on. Because not knowing is a circle upside down. Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie Stein. Here's for the next book, and the next one, and the next one. Our next reader is Eric Johnson, who's a graphic poet and who also makes books. He's the founder of Iota Press and North Bay Letterpress Studio in Sebastopol. His latest book is a memoir about his early career as a carpenter, Journeyman's Dues. Please help me welcome Eric Johnson to the stage.
Hello, everyone. I'll start with a poem.
We're going to bring it up. That's what we need to do. Is that better?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll bring it down a
I can
little bit. Starting with a poem.
Gwen, put it in the holder. It's going to fall and
Sound
tip it
bad?
and
No,
tip it up.
it's just, you need to, this yeah.
There you go.
Can you hear me without it?
No, go ahead and use the mic.
Try this. What's that?
That's good. Tip it down a little. That's good. That's
It won't
good.
hurt you and you won't hurt anybody. Really close, like an ice cream cone.
It's perfect.
Hello, microphone. I'll start off with this poem. I'm someone who grew up in the 40s and 50s, and a certain obsession with Mars and redness. This is called 50s Kids in 3 parts. Coastal boy, rock skimmer, agate shooter, BB gun boy, taking Susie to the matinee boy. Forever yours, big hunk, she said to the counter, and I said, I'm going to Mars. 2, I thought I was a teenage Martian, but you were way out there, running around in Orson Welles' head, rubies for breakfast, garnets for bed. Teenage Martians with earthling dads, better read than dead. And 3, I smoothed my hair with Dixie Peach and played old hits from Mars in a jukebox slow dance. 7 minutes in heaven with my earthling sweetie, talking reet petit and see you later alligator, trying not to think of that iron lung under the sidewalk that said save the Rosenbergs. I've written poetry all my life and several books and publications, but my most recent book is this prose work, which is an account of my first 20 years as a union carpenter in San Francisco. And I felt my duty as a union carpenter was also to be a poet in those circumstances. And so the book is full of either observations or actual events that had to do with my poetic sensibility while working in heavy construction. So I'm just going to read a couple from them that are more obvious. This is, in 1973, I was on the Holiday Inn job, which is a 27-story building on Van Ness in San Francisco. And it was run by a very military corporation with just sort of bullies as foremen, and with very hard to make friends, hardly any time to just be yourself and work calmly. So it was very nice when I finally met somebody I could talk to. And I'll pick it up there. We finished moving a load of posts and had a moment to ourselves out of range of the boss. We exchanged some basics like, are you married? What was your last job like? Edging outside the vocabulary of proletarian San Francisco. He said it first. Did you go to college? I said, yeah. Where? San Francisco State. I just went a couple of years. Oh yeah, what did you major in? He sounded a little sarcastic with a trace of grin. English? What especially did you study in English? Well, okay, it was poetry. Oh yeah, he said, looking like he was on to me. So who's one of your favorite poets then? This guy seemed to have caught the provocative baiting tone of this company, but I was older and a full journeyman. I just felt like dismissing him. Okay, you need to know? My favorite poet is Gerard Manley Hopkins. He stared at me with that same mischievous grin. Several beats went by. He let me swing out there on the end of my limb. Then he just said, you mean I caught this morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dolphin, dappled dawn-drawn falcon? And I stopped him. Yeah, in his writing of the rolling level underneath him steady air. Yeah, that Gerard Manley Hopkins. It wasn't so obvious always that you had people with you that were poetic. This is a few years later, in 1978, I was working in Portland on a big housing project, and I had a lot of difficulty with the company, and finally felt like I just got to get out of here. It was really a rough winter, and so I picked it up there. That night I reviewed the whole thing, and I made up my mind to quit. And besides, it was March, and I had promised myself to take some time off in spring to finish a book I was working on. The next morning, I talked it over with Dennis. I proposed to him that he had learned enough to be the new lead man. He liked the idea, so I called the boss directly and told him I was leaving at the end of the week. I just told him I was going to finish my book. He was consternated. But you're leaving a steady job. You've got kids. What's this book about, anyhow? It's poetry. Are you nuts, Johnson? I told him then about Dennis and how well he learned the job, and he actually had management experience, and he kind of bit, well, okay, maybe that'll work. I'll talk to him this afternoon. Dennis said, we should have a party Friday for my last day, and I said, great. Friday, we all assembled in one of the finished houses at 3 for a day-ending party. Dennis had brought a fifth of cognac. James passed around a joint. The electrician joined us, and we were in fine fettle. Landon talked about his boyhood as a mixed-race kid in New Orleans. James told us what it was like to leave his body after eating amanitas. Then Landon asked me, well, why are you really quitting? And I said, I wasn't kidding about finishing the book. So Landon asked me what it was. I said, poetry. Cool. What's the title? Trying to make ends meet. Oh man, I like that. You know, this is Landon speaking. You know, I've always thought that every person has at least one good book inside them. And everyone loved that and mused about it, sort of quiet. Then I asked Landon, well, what would your book be called? Yeah, I've already thought about it. Got a title for mine too. The closer to the tip, the hotter the flame. We all stopped talking. I was seeing this bluish cone of an inner flame. Man, that is really beautiful. I hope you do write it someday. Well, here's to your book too. Hope you finish it. Try to make those ends meet. And off we went. Okay, one more. The thing about that story is, the boss said, you know, I said, what's in? He says, what's in the book? I say, poetry. He says, are you nuts? And then Landon asked me, what's in your book? And I say, poetry. And he says, cool. You know, they're just like two different tribes, really. So this last one is working on the Moscone Center in San Francisco. It was half done. And we had been working on the south perimeter, 40 feet up, hanging from safety belts to attach the next level of outer forms. David, my partner, was a problem for me at first. He moved like corn syrup and would stop often to muse about things. I knew he was on the foreman's radar and that we weren't getting enough done. It was stressful, yet at the same time I longed to slip over into his dimension. After a few days, it seemed we understood each other better. And in that, oh, by the way, I didn't mention that. David was a junkie on methadone, and that's why he was so slow. Anyway, after a few days, it seemed we understood each other better. And in that contact high in which I picked up his opiated fumes, and he caught a little of my athletic exhilaration grappling along the edges of the wall, we could talk about this very thing, the difference in mental space. One of those afternoons, the sun was at our backs, and everything we saw within the great hall seemed illumined and bizarre. The little humans rushing about, the machinery almost comical. Suddenly we felt a disturbance in the sunbeams, like a flash flutter, and then stillness. Was it a signal, a presence? And then we saw it, a kestrel, perched in the rebar column very near us, shrugging its wings. Sparrowhawk, said David. We were frozen. Up close, one of the most beautiful of birds, regal orange, gray, and black, proud, piercing eyes, but more astonishing was the audacity of it, this seizing of anti-natural space. What could it be hunting here? It's not hunting, whispered David. It came to see us, sense the companionship. I'm going to close with a poem. We don't have much time left, so I'm going to just read my longest poem. In the spirit of Kerouac and Corso, I got into a thing of writing run-on sentences on little strips of paper, just going and going. Then I thought, you know, if I let a press printed this and put it on a tape measure, I'd have a tape measure poem. So, this is it. If I were amoeba and you were a pollinaire with a zillion pollens, and you admired my pseudopods for that slow, unpredictable Namibian transport with death, and the mayfly landing on Plymouth Rock during the on season when faucets everywhere rejoice. Or let's just say, after moi, you are all going to drown in our short-sightedness, meaning no offense to myopians, as I am a charter member, speaking close-up 6-point Garamond, and a master of footnotes, ibids, opsits, asterisks, and fine-point sonnets between the lines. In short, a micromanaging molecule rehab trainer with a taste for neutrino jam, so undrownable that I welcome Greenland's glacier meltdown tidal wave and its refresher course in ice age libations and frozen air, even if San Francisco really is Pacificus of legend, and there are no eras or decades or new years where you kissed and made up a story of doing better next time when we have flippers and unopposable thumbs, and don't make anything of it, nor houses build, nor amoebious strips of linear mentation spewing ticker tape of heart anti-sutras, or filibuster prayers for an end to preying on others, or shooting movies, or killing them with background music, and virtuous reality, self-anointing, meta-capitalist insults to the very nature of the protozoa, all-thingy book you just read. If you don't like it, I just take it back.
Okay, our last poet is Nancy Dougherty, and she'll be joined on stage by cellist Wendy Cilman. Nancy Dougherty is the author of 4 chapbooks, and the most recent, Heaven is in Truckee, was published by the Orchard Street Press. She's also a collage and watercolor artist and plays the cello. She'll be joined by Wendy Cilman, who is a longtime teacher, coach, and performing musician. She's also founded musical programs to benefit the community, including the Bay Area Youth Orchestra Festival. Please help me welcome Nancy and Wendy to the stage.
Thank you, Gwen, and I want to thank all of you friends and poets and family who are here. I'm just thrilled to see you and get this chance to share some poems that I've put to music, and this is the first time that Wendy and I are doing this, so it's been fun, and I'm just so happy to have an audience. Wow. So. The first poem I'll read is in a syllabic form. It's invented by the poet. It's a form called an ethery, invented by a poet named Ethery Taylor Armstrong from Arkansas. It has 10 lines. The first line has 1 syllable, the second 2, and onwards. And Wendy will be playing the Bourrée from Bach's Cello Suite number 3, and we'll read this 2 times. Caught. Twist of path. Sun splotches. Acorn splatter. Leading me uphill. Each step a rock to push. When outbounds a gangly man. Through thick foliage, he roars, ah! Then stops, startled, sees that he's been seen, mutters, stealing hold, got caught, spider's web. Twist of path, sun splotches, acorn splatter, leading me uphill, each step a rock to push. When outbounds a gangly man, he roars, ah! Thank you. Okay. Maybe get it.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
we're working on.
Yeah, we got a few things to navigate.
Get rid of the
There.
Maybe you don't
stand.
need this.
Maybe not, yeah. Good, good. Thank you. The music for the next three poems are excerpts from Dvorak's Silent Woods, Hindemith's Three Easy Pieces, and a Debussy sonata. And the poems I chose are really for reflecting this autumn season, this time of unsettled weather, changing colors, and just a sense of life cycling through. The circled years. Under the sky blue of no moon, only the great rustling of geese not yet arrived. The dried out stumps of the cottonwoods with the circled years intact. Records upon records, seasons to be carved out, and praise for strategic shadows. The reverberation of horse hooves connects to the pulse of your heart. Sometimes I forget about the steady beat of hammer, the chipping of rock, the quarries beneath. Every day it's another sky blue, this time with slip of moon like a sandal. The mother counts every toe and delights in the company of five. In the arroyos of tomorrow lie the fallen charms, gold, sparkling. History tarnishes the metals, dirties under nails, and bends the trunks towards the northeast. I remember the color of the moonless night, her silhouette aquiline and tilted as towards a song. The next poem is called Retreat. No, my mother retorts. Napoleon always said attack. Oh, as I wrestle with her wheelchair, stuck in the mulched front yard of Silver Star, her senior home. Gardens too kind a description, and I pull her out in retreat, as opposed to pushing further, deeper into the rut. And you'll make a poem out of this, my mother adds. Right. When deeper can't bring any relief, not from the bottomless heaviness of her aging, or this hangover in blue Monday morning, the merciless blue of California. This last poem is called In Colicky Thirds, after my first grandchild. The first other grandchild here is just perfect. They all are. But anyways, In Colicky Thirds. What of the strings? Can they be tuned in fifths? This violoncello of mine, as required, this new role as grandma to our Henry, tuned in cries and sleep, and his poor gut screams for more, as if he can't get out of this new universe that my strings in their slack gut cannot relieve. Sing solace, amuse, or divert in ditties or thirds, untuned and unstrung. What of the strings? Can they
don't forget Barrel Proof this Tuesday and Aquas next Monday. And thank you for coming. There are flyers for a Laguna Foundation poetry reading with broadsides. Eric Johnson, John Johnson, Judy Goldberg, and I will be reading there. And Elizabeth Heron. And I'm Gwynn O'Gara. And thank you all for coming. And we'll see you next March, I hope.